Good evening, everyone, and welcome to season 16, but the first and original only inaugural Sunday Night Lights as we make the big transition from Mondays, our traditional home, to Sunday night for this big ANZ soft race. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again is the good doctor himself, Dr. Alex John. AJ, ready for this big night ahead?
Yeah, it's exciting, Alex. We're to Sunday now, so of course that's giving the opportunity Sunday night lights, but that means that it's Sunday morning somewhere else in the world. So plenty of guys in this race tonight.
Indeed, as I get stuff up my overlays. Wasn't that a good job? Let's jump to that one. Sorry, I just hit the wrong button. With new overlays, with new everything. And of course, first thing I do is hit the wrong button, AJ. It's a good start. So, tonight, let's just start out by saying we've cracked it. The first Monday Night Lights has cracked it for the strongest field of the week by a long way, AJ. I'm pleased to say. The fields this week have been huge. And tonight, we've cracked it for the biggest one at just over 4,200, which is very much in advance of the next one at about 35. Great to see the community coming out to support this this fantastic series that we're trying to put on here, AJ. You still with me, AJ?
Yeah, sorry, I got you. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Exactly what we wanted to see, really. We wanted to see all of the top guys in there, give a chance for the ANZ community to race with the best guys, and obviously the best have turned up tonight. So not only is it the strongest, but it's the strongest soft by far this week.
Yeah, absolutely. May not get that every week, but look, as I think I was saying before, this track and the new Skippy with the new tyre model and everything has brought people out in droves this week. Free track, of course, but what we've seen is splits of up to seven splits in a race. 6 here tonight. We had over 100 drivers sign up for this race, and I'm pleased to say we've drawn the biggest crowd, the strongest crowd of the week. So fantastic to see everyone coming out to support this race here tonight to kick it off with a bang.
Yeah, that's right. And we have the return of Fahim Antoniadis tonight. He's the highest rated driver. Some new names in there as well, Alex. I haven't seen Sasha Gall, Sebastian Schultz. I have seen him. We've got plenty from all around. In fact, I'd say there's a good third of the field that probably maybe debutants, but I'm certainly not familiar with.
Yeah, look, great to see some familiar names in there as well. Ian Bevan joining us once again. He was provisionally on pole there briefly, although he must have set a pretty slow lap in his first time round because he's about 7 seconds off the pace. Roman Katka joining us again. Wasn't a frequent participant in Monday Night Lights before we move to Sundays, but that's the aim of this game, to increase our participation. Timu Vaskalampi joining us once again from Finland. Great to see Timu back on the track with us. Håkon Grebstad, a Sunday Night Lights favourite, of course, this time slot opening up to the young man who's joined the workforce and wasn't quite as free with his time. But Ben Snell also on track tonight for Team Milo. He's VDR Team Milo, I should say. He's leading ANZ driver from last season, of course, just being pipped by Enzo Cantor, who's not here tonight. Benjamin Soko, a familiar face to ANZ drivers, but not to MNL. Again, perhaps Sunday Night Lights giving him the opportunity to run around with us, AJ.
Yeah, and just looking, Ben Snell's gone straight to the top. He's 1.5 tenths clear of anyone else at this point. Quite a short lap, so we should see them get their quali laps in nice and quickly. But one thing to note with this track, if you have an accident on your first lap, you have to tow, then your second lap, I found out the hard way, counts potentially as your second flying lap. So quite risky. The guys will want to make sure that they get that first lap done, get a banker in so that they don't risk missing out on a time altogether. Because start dead last down here in a pack like this is going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, absolutely right there, AJ. It's one of the few tracks where you You cross the line as you exit the pits. So that is that occurrence that you were talking about as we see Snell now coming around for the end of his second lap. Can he jump back up to the top of the pops because he's been moved down a little bit? Snell crosses the line, only manages P2. P3, Vascalampi crossing not long after Snell and bumping him down the order a bit further. Snell perhaps a little disappointed with that exit stage left. Håkon Grebstad all the way down in P9. That's a surprising spot for Grebstad, although that goes to show the quality of this field, AJ.
Yeah, well, let's not forget he's car 11, so perhaps he is around about even a little bit higher than what he should be based on his I rating. But it does show the strength of this field, and it's not going to be easy, I don't think, for any of these guys tonight. A good showing from Ben Snell, and of course we've got Kevin Henderson up there. Those were the two main ANZ drivers challenging for the championship last year, so good to see them up here mixing it with all the internationals.
Yeah, absolutely right there. Ian Bevan for VDR Team Milo, sporting the Kiwi flavour of the livery. Big our thoughts and well wishes go out to all the people in New Zealand affected by that tragedy this week. And Ian, no doubt, flying the flag proudly in this fun event. So let's keep it light-hearted. Anthony Catt joining us all the way from UK and I. He's put in a time only to finish in P11 in quali. David Onazol, not someone that I'm familiar with, from Iberia. That's what we're short of here tonight for Sunday Night Lights, our regular Iberian franchise, so to speak. The guys haven't shown up. Maybe the message hasn't gone out. I've been beating the jungle drums, AJ. I tried to get the message out to everyone, but not some of our regulars are here. Perhaps some of them bumped out. Certainly plenty of splits to go around here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. There is. There's only the one Iberian that's shown up tonight, but it looks like we've got plenty of UK and I participants. A couple of French guys in there as well. One from Brazil. So it's great to see a good mix. Traditionally, it was pretty much just the Aussies and the Iberians, but we've got a real diverse mix in there. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. A lot of these guys perhaps haven't raced each other as well, so they'll be learning each other and each other's driving styles as the race goes on, as much as we will, Alex.
Yeah, that's it. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of a cohort that we get now that we've moved to the Sunday nights as quali comes to a close. Tell you what, I'm going to risk it again. Hang on, I'm going to try and do. Let me just grab the grid here. I'm going to reload that theme to see if I can't get it right. Come on, load up for me. Let's pull out the grid now. Timu Vascalampi, fantastic drive from Timu with a 126, taking out pole tonight. Sacha Gourlay from France, he's joined us for the first time, managed to grab a great P2 on the grid, the car number 2. Ben Snell leading the ANZ charge for VDR Team Milo in P3 tonight. Luis Gonzaga Filho from Brazil, the 10-plated car here tonight in P4. P5, Kevin Henderson, who we didn't grab a glimpse of during the quali, but that's a fantastic effort from Kevin. Car number 15, sneaking into the top split tonight almost, with a 21.4 rounding out your top 5. Sebastian Schultz, familiar to this series at times, with a 21.5 also in P6. P7, another Frenchman in Frederic Saint-Denis, sorry mate if I'm getting that wrong. He's about a second off the pace, nearly all the way down in P7. P8, Lee Anderson from UK and I, joining us for the first time. Håkon Grebstad representing Team Ovaltine. He has managed P9 tonight. Fahim Antoniadis for Thrustmaster Mivano Racing, all the way down in P10, perhaps showing a little bit of track time required for Fahim, usually right up the top of the pops. Anthony Catt also from UK and I with a 21.9 in P11. P12 went to Calvin Ferradent. Oh man, this is going to kill me. P12, sorry Calvin. P13, oh no, it's all gone to pot. Let me see if I can get the next one up. Oh, I've hit the wrong button. Next, here we go. 13. Sam Katakazinos in P13 tonight. Kip Stevens in P14. P15 went to David Onazol. Ian Bevan for VDR Team Milo in P16. Surprising time. Can't imagine Ian was pretty happy with that. Roman Katka in P17. P18 went to Benjamin Soko, as if we get going. And the green light, I'll tell you what, Tell you what, AJ, I'm struggling, but we're underway as the front runners now make their way down to turn one. What a fantastic shot that is to open proceedings here as we see all 18 cars on the way down to turn one, AJ.
Yeah, hopefully we make it through nice and cleanly here. Of course, we have the new tyre model, so it's going to be a little bit tricky in the opening laps for these guys. Easy to run wide, especially with the grass as well. Seems to be absolutely killer, so you're going to have to be so careful in these opening laps.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys at this level, though, I would expect to have done their homework, spent a bit of time in the car this week, adjusting, and in week 13, of course, adjusting the new tyre model. Very, very treacherous on the opening laps before the tyres kick in terms of their heat and pressure. But I've got to tell you, there's been some carnage this week here. Oh, what do we got?
Yeah, we've got Snell around. That's around at turn 6, and he's just been collected as well by Anthony Catt on the way through. So those two right to the back of the field.
Yeah, let's see if we can't grab the replay here. We hop on board with... Oh, he's just grabbed the inside curbing there. It's sent the rear of the car around. Curbs are a big no-no on the opening lap, and then, he's been hit by Cat and Antoniadis there and ended up facing the wrong way, and certainly not how any of those three wanted to start their race. Let's see if we can hop back.
That's right. That's right. So that's allowed Vascalampi and Gall to skip away a little bit. We've still got Gonzaga, Filho. He's still in there with the draft, and he's got Henderson back there in P4. So we've got two little battle packs of 2, and then another little draft train of 3 further back behind those guys.
Yeah, the packs are starting to define, but if I look at my telemetry, it's all red, which means there's a bunch of people still stuck together very closely. Vascalampi and Gourlay looking to make a really strong fist of this race as they head down into the turn 5 tight left-hander there, first gear corner. You want to get that right. The guys will be hoping at each passing lap that those tyres come up to temperature and pressure, as once it does, you can really start throwing this car around in this new build, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. And as we saw with Snell getting caught out there, it's easy to get caught out, even just the odd bump, or you just hit something slightly wrong. And with the cold tyres, it's so easy to make a mistake and go around, and that's going to be so costly. But these guys, they'll know that. And as we have Henderson, he's done just that. Made a mistake at the last corner. He's done well to hang on to it and not go right around, but he's gone right down the back of the pack, and that's exactly what I was saying. So easy to make a mistake. They're going to have to go easy for at least 5 laps into this 18-lap race before they really push.
Yeah, the guys brave enough to take the lower tyre pressures might get them up sooner than that. We saw Snell has had a brief sojourn, or he's still in the pits actually, and that looks like perhaps an early night for him. I'm not sure if he's left yet, but the telemetry will tell us soon enough. Meanwhile, up the front, we've got Gourlay just leading out from Vascalampi at the moment and looking to really splice this field or split it up a little bit. And the pack really starting to spread out now as the race starts unfolding and the guys start getting their tyres up to temp and pressure, AJ.
Yeah, Gourlay nicely out front there. No doubt these guys out the front, they'll just be using the draft, potentially just leapfrogging down that front straight. It's a smart thing to do and try and get a gap to the guys behind. But just looking at Gourlay's car, a smart little painted skippy he's got there. I'm quite liking that, Alex.
Yeah, nice looking little number there, bit of red and black. Nice little lightning style effect on the front of the 2 car, who's leading us out here tonight. Of course, Vascalampi, who I know, and you as well, mate, know that he is super fast, looks to being left in the wake as as Gourlay tries to make it a little bit harder to get in the wake. As 2x2 they go behind. Who we got here in the mix behind? Is it Anderson making the move on Henderson? Oh no, I beg your pardon, it was St. Denis making the move on Anderson into turn 1 and getting it done nicely as someone is dropping rapidly down the order now. It is in fact Calvin, I don't know, it's Calvin, I can't pronounce his surname, driving a Formula Ford. Let me see if I can't grab another replay here without it dying. He's just, looks like he even got tapped into the corner, lost his wing. Let's see if we can't get it. We'll slow it down here. Oh, it's the 17 car that's come across. David Onarzol has come across. I don't know why he moved other there, really perhaps to defend the line from the 18 car in Kip Stevens, but that's gone terribly wrong for everyone involved.
Yeah, good little battle pack there with Kip Stevens and Ozil as well. Little 4-car pack with Anton Yardis right on the back, back there. So Anton Yardis has had a horrible start to this race, down 5 spots, not where he would want to be.
No, exactly right. Putting all sorts of pressure. You what? I didn't think you could fit 4 skippies into that grab through the final quarter there, but they've managed to do it as they fan out now. This battle pack that you were talking about here, fanning out 3 wide almost as the 4-car of Roman Katka looking to make it 3 wide through the centre there. Anton Yardis looking to follow him through. Katka now moving over to cover the inside line. 17 car of David Onarzol trying to run the outside line for him. Anton Yardis nowhere to go in that little pack of what is now 6 cars, as we know. Oh, Anton Yardis moving across in front, just enough space for that Skippy to go in there and behind the 17 and in front of the 18. I tell you what, you don't get much closer than that, AJ.
No, that's right. And I mean, just look at the guys in this pack. I reckon the average I rating of this pack would have to be in the high 3000s. So, you know, it might be back there battling for 11th and 12th place. The last points places for Monday Night Lights in the top split, but fantastic racing.
Absolutely right. As they go side by side again, out the back now through into the S's. They've just got it sorted now as they head out the back straight towards the final corner of Paddock Bend. And I tell you what, they've got it sorted. Why don't we go see what's happening up the front? As again, we've got a 5-car pack starting to develop up the front here. It looks like Vascalampi's reeled in Gourlay now as he makes the move. Looks to make the move on the inside of turn 1 now. The 10-car of Philo. Louis Gonzaga Filo looking to follow suit there in that bright pink car that he is. He leaves Gourlay out to dry on the outside as they approach now towards Wagon Bend here. It's very difficult to go 2x2. One of them's got to give up. It's a dangerous game of chicken through Wagon Bend there. And we see the Brazilian in Filo. He's given up on that and decided that discretion is a better part of valor at this stage, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys up front are racing very smartly. We see not too many risks taken, and as they don't have to take too many risks, we're only on lap 6 of 18. So I'd say, you know, tyres just starting to kick in now. They can start to push. Of course, you can just about hold it flat out through this whole section now with the new tyre model and the slightly, say, older asthmatic version of the Skippy engine. So these guys just settling in. Obviously that pack way back fighting for 11th, 12th, got nothing to lose really, so plenty of action to see there.
Yeah, jumping back to that pack, they seem to have split up a little bit. You've got Katka, who's made a break from Anton Yardis, or with Anton Yardis, and they've really sort of dropped the 4 behind. The 4 behind led by Kip Stevens now, who's got on Arzol, Cat and Soko in behind. And they're now looking to make a good fist of it on the run down the front straight into turn 1, which is where really you get most of your passing done, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. It is the big opportunity turn 1. Of course, you got that massive draft down the front straight, but that also brings a lot of danger with it as well. But just looking, and it looks like Fahim Anton Yardis, he set the fastest lap of the race, I believe. A 20.3. Yeah, that is the fastest lap of anybody so far in this race. So a bit of wasted talent down there in 12th place at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. I've just picked up Vascalampi's had an issue. I'm going to hop on board and see if I can see what happened here. Am I on Vascalampi? Yes, I am. Coming down. Oh, the rears let go through the chute, AJ, and it spat him out to the right-hand side of the track. I tell you what, he's got away with one there. The damage kicking in a little bit late there, but he got away with it, and the nose cone still largely intact. Oh, my overlays, they're killing me, AJ. I tell you what, let me just try and go back here. Here we go, live. Back with Vascalampi now. Tell you what, a little bit more development in the overlays. Cost me a bit of time, but it's still not paying off yet as we go 2 wide into turn 1 now. We've got the 2 and the 10 car of Gourlay and Filo. Brazil versus France in this first of the ANZ soft races for season 2 of 2019. Tucked in behind, we've got Schultz and Grebstad, making this a front pack of 4 now that Vascalampi's dropped off, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. And again, we have someone with Vascalampi's experience making mistakes, just showing how easy it is to do. Only lap 8, so not even halfway through this race yet. But I'm glad that we've got Gole and Filho up the front there. Not content to just sit there and follow the leader. They're happy to have a bit of a battle, which is great for us.
Absolutely. And don't let the car numbers, of course, which represent the seedings here, fool you. This quality of field, you're going to see top racing end to end as again, my telemetry is lit up all throughout the field, denoting battle packs from top to tail in this field as we focus on our leaders now. Gourlay right on the tail of Philo with Schultz and Grebstad tucked right in behind, all of them hoping to grab the biggest points haul available this week. The winner tonight will get a great kickstart to their season with 243 official championship points on offer here tonight as they cross the line. That's of course what the strength of field does to you. It gives you those high points on offer, high stakes as it were, as these guys are showing full well tonight. There's plenty on offer and plenty to play for.
Yeah, Philo there at turn 1 showing, as I said, previous lap, a very dangerous place. So nearly went into the back of Gourlay then, just managed to pull it up. Ran a little bit wide but didn't cost himself any time, and they lived to fight another day.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to fight till the end here because the racing's been so good. I'll tell you, the one drawback or one of the drawbacks of the people who identified with this new tyre model is they take a while to get going. But I tell you what, once they do, you can really throw these little cars around, and they're a great deal of fun. I know I've enjoyed my racing here this week, and I'm sure the guys out there will have as well. As we jump back to our second pack now, we've got Anderson on the front of St. Denis there as they head through the final stages of the S's up towards Paddock Bend on the tail end of lap 9 as we bring up half race distance now. Just behind them we've got battle pack led by Kevin Henderson in front of 4 cars there. You've got Henderson, Vascalampi, our former leader of course, Bevan and Katagazinos tucked in behind there leading some of the ANZ charge in this race. In fact, I think they are the top ANZ drivers in this race. Great to see them getting amongst it, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. There's great little battle packs. I was on board with, I think it was Bevan down there. No, Katagazinos, sorry. Oh, as we have Vascalampi and Bevan making a little bit of contact. Oh, Bevan's on the grass. He's just managed to keep that together, just wiggling side to side to make sure that he hasn't got any suspension damages. Katagazinos has a cheeky little look down through turn 3. I'd suggest you don't do it there, Sam, and he doesn't. But Ian Bevan, we've got the question mark cloud over him at the moment. Does he have damage? He's dropping back a little bit. Looks like the car's a little bit unsettled under brakes there behind Vascalampi. So he'll be looking to just get back into a nice rhythm and try and get back on to the draft of Vascalampi. But that's broken up that little pack there. But yeah, as I was saying, I was on board and I could just see 2 wides right down the main straight. So everyone having a go, and Grebstad getting through to P3 there as well that previous lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just wondering there if Bevan's picked up some damage and that's why he was so wild and woolly there, but he seems to be continuing on as he runs past the pits. Jumping up to our front group now, we see once again the lead changing hands as they cross the line with now Philo overtaking Gourlay into the front turn. No, first turn, Gourlay takes the position back. Fantastic driving. These guys, oh, do I hear contact in the back, AJ? Henderson's off again.
Yeah, I'm just going back to have a look as well. Yeah, Henderson blew his engine.
Oh, Hendo, the Eggs and Bacon Award's going to come back out. Used to be the award that I give to Mr. Henderson or anyone who blew the most engines in a season. Look, there she blows. Don't tell me the Henderson curse is back in play here, AJ. Oh, that's a tragedy. Hendo. Oh, I hope that's not. I hope that's not an omen for what's to come in the season, AJ. But looks like we're jumping back up to the front once more, and we've got Philo and Gourlay just ahead of Grebstad and Schultz as we round out the tail end of lap 11 of 19 as they go through Paddock Bend once again, AJ.
Yeah, and Bevan definitely does have damage there. He's dropped right off the back of all of those guys that are around him. And now Anton Yanis has moved on up through to P10. So there will be a few points on offer for Anton Yanis tonight. But yeah, Bevan definitely struggling now.
Yeah, he's getting passed by all and sundry. It makes you wonder if the pit's worthwhile taking at that point. I know he hasn't been through the pits previously, but as he moves over, yeah, he's kept out. Who's he got right next to him? Katka. Katka, he's made life very interesting there, and I'm sure Roman would have had some interesting words should that have come unstuck. As we jump back up the front now, Philo and Gourlay still leading this race with Grebstad biding his time. As you said, he made the positional move last lap to get into P3, because at this stage of the race, you are starting to think about where you position yourself for the final run, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. And with Gourlay and Philho ahead of him, they have been battling pretty much every lap into turn one. And Grebstad has very smartly just been sitting back and then positioning his car to get a good run out of whatever corner they happen to battle at. And as we see here, it looks like Philho trying to go up the inside of the last turn, and he does. Gourlay leaves him space, which is very smart. That has allowed Grebstad to get a monster run onto the straight, but always going to have nowhere to go as he gets boxed in there by P1 and 2. So he's going to have to try again. He's got about 5 or so laps to try and do it. But Grebstad, I'd say he's in a good position here.
Yeah, just riding on board with Grebstad now as he takes a nice line through turn one there. The other two running a bit wide. I tell you what, they're getting game, having racing through Paddock Bend at the end there. You might save that till the final lap, gents, because that's a dangerous game that you play at this stage of the race, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. It's not the easiest corner to get right at the best of times. You drop one tyre into the grass on the entry to that corner, and it is game over. I know that because I did it earlier today. But these guys are in the 4,000 I rating group, so showing that they've got the skill to do it, and I've been very impressed. These guys are racing very close, but so far, no contact.
Yeah, we've been riding on board with Grebstad pretty much this whole lap as they approach the back straight now to head towards Paddock Bend. At the tail end of lap 13 this time, they're going line astern, moving out to take the optimal racing line through. You can hear the different sound, the different note to the Skippy engine. Look at them. Perfect line out of there using all the track available to them. These guys really showing us how it's done, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. And now Grebstad, he's been able to make the move, and he didn't get boxed in this time. What he's been able to do is box in Philho. So Philho has not been able to make a move. Grebstad now challenging around the outside. He's going to have the inside for turn 3. So I'd say that Philho will let him have it. We've seen smart racing so far, and that's it. Yep. So Grebstad now moving up to P2.
Yeah, we're just looking out the rear of Gourlay's vehicle at the moment. The number 2 plated driver sitting in P1, 5,291. That's not I rating they give away for nothing, folks, as he covers a very nice line through turn 5 there, sweeping around through the carousel. What's a US track without a corner series called the Carousel, AJ, followed by the S's? It's about the perfect makeup of a US track, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, I'm just disappointed we haven't got any turn, 3A, 3Bs on this track, but makes our job a little bit easier, for sure. But yeah, a very typical American track, this one. Very good club style track, and owes itself to some really good racing as we see here in the Skippy.
Yeah, absolutely. While these guys are battling away a bit further down in
Oh,
P5. Whoa, what have we lost?
no, it's all right. Gourlay, he got on the grass there trying to break the toe and nearly lost it down the front straight, but it's okay. He has managed to gather it back up.
All right, as we back to your regular viewing, folks, we've got St. Dennis now ahead of Lee Anderson, covering off, and then he's got who's he got? Vascalampi now trying to work his way back through the field to get more points that he's got than he had, but certainly not as many as he would have had if he'd run up the front. Anton Yardis running a lonely race at the moment with about a second and a half either side of him before behind him you've got Katka and Katagazinos. Try saying that 3 times quickly. These guys have really broken away now. Of course, they dropped Ian Bevan behind earlier in the race. Anthony Catt now with Kip Stevens sitting in behind him. Kip having just snuck into this 18 car field as car number 18. We know Anthony Catt's got good pace as well. Ian Bevan now still struggling around with that damage, trying to make of it what he can. Benjamin Soko, we haven't seen too much of him tonight, but we see him now as he comes down into turn 5. This camera angle, I tell you what, it's not great. There we go. The 17-plater car, David Onarzol, rounding out the folks that are still running, AJ.
Yeah, and up front we've got Grebstad. He made the move on the previous lap into turn 3, but now it's his turn to be robbed. He's going to move back down to P3, I think, as they go 3 wide into the braking zone at turn 1. Oh, they're very close. Phil Ho comes over, but he's run a little bit wide. He came over to take the optimal line, but it hasn't worked out for him at all. Grebstad's still up in P2, but Phil Ho, oh, now they're trying to go 2 by 2. For P3 and 4, that's Schultz now. He's saying, I want to make a move because it's lap 16, so there's only 2 and a bit laps to go. It is really hotting up at the front.
Absolutely is, AJ. I tell you what, Grebstad made a fantastic move. Got wonderful drive out of the first corner now as they approach. Takes a slightly defensive line into turn 5 now as they go through now down to the first gear carousel. On the tail end of lap 16, as you say, it's really starting to heat up here. Grebstad really starting to show the strategic benefit of some of the racing he's done in the formerly on Monday nights, now on Sunday night lights, of course, and seeing what he can do. Is he going to go? Is he going to go? No, he's going to tuck back in. Of course, you can make it happen in the final corner, but you're better at this stage to go for the first corner, AJ.
That's right. Grebstad just having a little lift there. He actually dropped a wheel onto the grass through the left-hand, fast left-hander there, which set him up beautifully for that run on the second to last straight, but choosing not to take it because obviously you've got the good opportunity here down into turn 1. They're going to try and box Phil Ho in, or is Phil Ho going to go to the inside? No, Phil Ho just waiting. Grebstad on the outside. Oh, they're getting very close there, but Grebstad going to have the inside. Is Gourlay going to give him the corner this time? We've seen it before, but there's only 2 laps to go. I don't think he'll want to. No, he races smart there, and he tucks in. Oh, getting very close to the back of Grebstad. And we live to fight another day.
Tell you what, he's very tight at the front there. Look how you cannot get much closer than that as they run down to turn 5 now. Grebstad looking out the rear of his car, that Team Ovaltine livery. He's putting on a good show. I tell you what, has he gone off 1 lap too early though, AJ? I tell you what, he'll have a fight on his hands down into turn 1 as they go across the line now shortly as they approach the final corner now, Paddock Bend, for the penultimate time, AJ.
Yeah, Gourlay there just moving out to cover off Philo behind. He wants to have the best runner Grebstad that he can. Grebstad will move right to the right here. He does. He wants the inside line. Oh, as that was Gourlay nearly getting boxed in, but he's managed to pull out. We're going to have 3 wide possibly. As here comes Schultz as well. He wants to have a go at it. Oh, there's absolutely no room here. Schultz goes to the inside. Oh, looks like, yeah, contact there. Yeah, contact between Philo and Gourlay. Gourlay's gone around. Yep. And that has possibly gifted Grebstad the win. He's got Schultz, a nice little gap to Schultz. But, you know, that was brewing for 17 laps. And on 18, we saw it go bang.
Yeah, absolutely, we did. It was always a potential there. These guys have been putting on a fantastic show. We might stay with the action for the final lap, AJ. We've got Schultz and Grebstad now out in front, courtesy of that incident between Philo and Gourlay. Tragedy for those guys who've led all the way up front. And I tell you what, there's some quality coming through this field now. You've got Philo who's managed to hang on in P3 for the time being. Anton Yardis now up to P4. That's what you get for sticking at it, with Anderson tucked in behind him about a tenth and a battle unto himself. These two up front, though, they've got it done here tonight. Grebstad played a really smart game. He won this in the helmet, I think, between the ears as he runs out of the final corner now. Sebastian Schultz in behind him. getting a bit of a wiggle in memory of Enzo potentially. Schultz coming second there. Anton Yardis, he's ducked home for fourth behind Philo. Lee Anderson as they all start crossing the line. What's going on back here? Where's my better angle here? I tell you what, not much. You can throw a blanket over a lot of this field here tonight, AJ, and what a display they put on for our opening round.
Yeah, and geez, that was impressive from Anton Yardis too. We didn't really see much of him during the broadcast, but just looking at the times, and he managed to do, well, he was the only person that managed to do. Sorry, I take that back. He did do a 19.8. That was the fastest lap. Only one other person managed to do a 19, and that was Kip Stevens with a 19.9. So just showing if you've got the pace, you can get through here. But I'd say also capitalising on a bit of bad luck from other guys, as we saw there. Plenty of guys struggling with the cold tyres tonight.
Yeah, just on board for that final lap incident. The 10 car looking to get just into the rear of the 2 car there. Gourlay looked like he might have just checked up a touch, looking to avoid Grebstad there, and the 10 car in Philo, the Brazilian, had very little place to go there at that sort of critical point where you're really thinking about getting on the gas, and that's put an end to his night. Philo perhaps getting away, luckily there, for hanging on to third place in the end, and the stricken Gourlay really struggling to get back on the track, and then just swamped by all and sundry as they ran by the Frenchman there. It's unfortunate for his night, AJ, but why don't we grab a quick look at your results, if I can get my buttons to work. There we go. Mr. Grebstad racing for Team Ovaltine tonight takes out the first Sunday Night Lights event, up 8 spots in this sort of field, AJ. That's a fantastic effort from Hawken Grebstad tonight. Sebastian Schultz has come in just the 3/10 behind after sitting patiently on the back of that lead pack the whole race. And luck's a fortune for him here tonight. Luis Gonzaga Filo from Brazil. He was finished 4 seconds back, but was in it up to his neck the whole race. Just that final lap incident perhaps costing him the chance of the higher steps on the podium. P4 for him, Anton Yardis, racing for Thrustmaster Vivano Racing here tonight, has... Well, he's done a Lazarus and risen from the dead almost here tonight, AJ. He's up 6 spots. He started in 10th, and I don't know whether he just made a mistake in his quali or not. Perhaps he's in the booth, in the green room. He'll probably let us know when we talk to him. P5 tonight, Lee Anderson from UK&I. P6, Team of Ascalante, after being right up the front there tonight, fought his way back to P6, but quite an adventure for him. Frederick St. Denis from France, down in P7 tonight in his first run in the Sunday Night Lights. Great to see Sam Katakazinos not only back on track tonight, but in the top 10, making the most of his run here tonight. And also look at that, on the head of a tightly nested pack there, done well in the race strategy stakes as well, finishing ahead of in P9 from UK&I Anthony Catt, up 2 positions from where he started. Roman Katka joining us again for this first race of Sunday Night Lights, finishing in P10. P11 from UK&I Kip Stevens. P12 Ian Bevan representing VDR Team Milo, the last of the Sunday Night Lights points scoring positions. Quite an adventurous race for him, no doubt. Benjamin Soko in P13, up 5 spots from the rear of the grid. I don't know if you'd be happy or not with that, but certainly when you got the green arrow there, you're going to be more happy than not. P14, Sasha Gourlay. Well, what a fall from grace, so to speak, in that final incident. You'd hate to be hitting the rear and turned in that final lap, turn 1. Unfortunate for Sasha. Hopefully we'll see him back next week. P15 went to David Onazol from Iberia. And Kevin Henderson in P16 from ANZ, not where he wanted to finish, of course, with Calvin. Oh, I don't know, Calvin. I'm sorry, mate. I'm not even going to have a crack at that. He, along with Ben Snell for VDR Team Milo, were the 3 retirements in 16th, 17th, and 18th position. As we said, the strength of field here tonight, 4,240, with Anton Yardis cracking the fastest lap here tonight with a 19.897. No doubt draft assisted, but not many folks get under the 1 minute 20 mark around here, AJ.
Yeah, that's right. And just great racing, I have to say. And going through the race results there, you see there is that column for team names. So if you are a racer watching this back, uh, just jump onto the Top Split Discord. I'm sure all of those details, Alex, would be in the iRacing Skippy forum, and hit us up with your name and your team so that you can be added to the results.
Absolutely. Hit us up in the Discord channel. I'll give you all that information shortly where you can register your name and team so we can correctly identify you here on the broadcast. I'm just going to try and jump back to a replay of earlier in the night as the race got underway, just to have playing in the background while we talk to some of the fine folks from this race. Now, we will go in finishing order and we'll bring up Mr. Grebstad, our race winner here tonight. Hello, Mr. Grebstad.
Hello.
Hello. What a way to start the season, mate. The first Sunday Night Lights race, and you've cracked it for a win, mate.
Yeah, baby. We're here to win.
Well, it looked like you bided your time there for the first half of the race, and then towards the latter stages starting to make your mark, and then you were very well positioned on the inside of turn one in that final lap, and then it all sort of broke out around you. Is that tell us, how did the race shape up from the cockpit's view?
Yeah, pretty much as you say. I was kind of biding my time, trying to figure out when to make the move, because the two guys up front were battling pretty hard throughout the race. So didn't really want to get amongst that too early.
Yeah,
And a lot of people dropping off as well because of the new tire model and everything, right? Easy to spin and everything.
Yeah, look, I expect to see a bit more carnage if I'm honest, but the quality of the field here being the top split of the top soft of the week really showed through, and hopefully more to come along those lines, mate, and certainly for yourself, representing Team Ovaltine, of course. Fantastic to take out the first one, mate. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I gotta, give a Dennis Fiedler a shout out for my teammate and you guys for doing and changing it to Sundays. Awesome.
That's it. Hopefully, we can go from strength to strength from here, mate. So, thanks once again, and congratulations on the win. And we'll no doubt see you again next week.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be there.
There you go, AJ, our first race winner in Håkon Grebstad. The Norwegian fella giving us something to talk about during the week.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a little bit speechless there at the start of that interview. Perhaps a little bit like his other Scandinavian friend that won today, I think.
Potentially, indeed. All right, let's grab next on our list, which was Mr. Anton Yardis. I'll bring him up to the booth. Fahim, look, I was a bit surprised on where he started in quali, but perhaps even more surprised at how you were able to work your way through this field, finish inside the top four, mate. Congratulations on the race. How did it unfold for you here tonight?
Thanks, Alex. Nice to talk to you again after a season off. It went okay. I mean, the qualifying could have obviously gone a lot better than it did, so starting 10th wasn't ideal. But once the tires started heating up, I managed to work my way up. But before that happened, actually, obviously I started 10th, but by the end of lap one, I was down in 16th because Ben, I think, got into a bit of a spin on the first lap going into the windy section of the track, and in trying to avoid him, I went onto the grass and lost momentum there. So by the time I crossed the line, it was 16th. I just dread to think what would have happened if that didn't happen, and I stayed in 10th from there at the end of lap one instead of 16th. I'm sure I could have been there fighting for the win, but it was once the tires started heating up, just getting faster and faster every lap. So it wasn't that hard to make my way back up. But yeah, unlucky to Ben and I think Timo as well. He had a torrid time in the race, but yeah, mine didn't start very well, but it ended pretty well.
Yeah, that's right, mate. I didn't pick up on it in the race, but the replay is showing that you picked up a significant bit of damage with the front of the car, pretty much missing. But to fight back from there, mate, just shows a bit of intestinal fortitude. And look, I can't say there wasn't a bit of luck with the leaders taking themselves out in that front pack of four at the end. They get bonusing a couple of spots, but I'll tell you, in the top strength of field of the week, which is what we were going for and what we got here tonight, some handy points there for the overall season to kick you off.
Amazing, huh? Over 4,000, almost 5,000 strength of field, if I remember it right. And I'd be surprised if any of the other SOF, big SOF races that are going to happen later today are going to top that. I think moving it over to Sunday might have been a good thing.
Yeah, mate. Well, I have to credit you with the original idea, mate. It took us a little while to get there, but we certainly do listen to our participants and our regulars, and we like to do what we can to help the community. So, listen, thanks again for your support of the series, mate. Congratulations on the drive through the field tonight, and we look forward to catching you in the coming weeks. But anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, my team, of course, they're always there, always jolly, always egging me on, and needless to say, you guys for doing this, and congratulations actually for well, I think Sunday Night Lights now is going to move up the platform. So well done on doing that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for him, mate. And again, we look forward to seeing you go from strength to strength in the coming weeks.
Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
There you go, AJ. All these people thanking us for the broadcast. They haven't seen the mess that I made of it yet, but hopefully still a bit of a work in progress with the new overlays, and we'll get there, though. I can't believe I mashed the wrong buttons early on, but that's the way we go. But hopefully, like I said, we'll get better from here. Now, I'm going to grab... I'm not sure I'm even going to have any footage of Ben Snell unless I go back to... the early stages of the race, because he was out early, but we'll bring him up nonetheless. Mr. Snell, not the way you and Team Milo wanted to start the season, mate. Short and sweet, as it were. Caught out by the cold tyres. Is that what we're telling people?
Look, I'm the only one from Team Milo that actually managed to make the top split. Oh, sorry, Bevo made it as well, but yeah, unfortunately, just chucked it in a little bit too deep with being a little bit worried about getting punted in the first lap. So, unfortunately, being worried about punted means I got punted because I half spun and someone collected me, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looked like you clipped a bit of the curbing on the inside, and that's a big no-no in the early laps around here with the way the tyres are at the moment. But yeah, it looked like a bit of havoc broke out. But look, I can tell you that the racing overall was fantastic, although you would have seen, I suppose, a bit in the broadcast after dropping out. So I'm hoping that we can give local drivers like yourself, mate, a real platform to have a crack at the overall season, if not the Sunday Night Lights in general. So hopefully people like yourself and others in the community will get behind us and make the race bigger and better from here, mate. So thank you once again for joining us and representing VDR Team Milo here tonight, and we look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, mate?
As always, thanks to you guys. Obviously, now being on a Sunday, we're going to have a lot more aggressive strength of field. We're going to have a lot of fast guys jumping in. So I'm going to see a lot of our regulars, like guys like Russell and John, and that actually are probably going to have to do a bit of I-rating farming to try and get back into the top split.
Potentially, yeah, the guys will potentially have to do a bit of work to get back in there, but I'm sure now the gauntlet's been thrown that they'll take up the challenge ASAP. So, yeah, look, hope to see more guys in there soon, and certainly putting on a good display for us. So, thanks once again for joining us, Ben, and we'll chat to you next week.
Cheers, guys.
There you go, AJ. We had Ben here, of course, finished second overall in the championship last season, and this season not off to the start they would have hoped. He had consistency is probably where he improved the most last season. He's got the pace. Let's hope that he can represent us once again up near the front.
Yeah, and I mean, just thinking of the racing that we had there in that race, watching those guys up front, it's going to be something to learn, managing that pressure from the caliber of drivers that are now, well, at least in this first week of Sunday Night Lights, have turned up, because you really can't afford to be looking too much in your mirrors, as Ben said. That's caught him out there. So it's going to be quite a lot of learning for the guys, especially from Australia and New Zealand, with the quality of field that they're now going to be up against if they want to take on everyone for the Sunday Night Light Championship. And just echoing with the strength of the field, I mean, I had a look at the results, and anyone in the top 5 has outscored the highest point scorer so far this week for all of the official racing. So hopefully, I'm just hoping we continue that on, and it only gets stronger from here.
Yeah, well, I guess end of week 1 almost now, and Håkan Grebstad leading the official series after taking out this race. Sounds good, doesn't it? What I'm hoping, though, is that the culture that we bring with us here now from a Monday to a Sunday night, I expect with the different faces that we'll see on track, that we might see a little bit of a change in the culture in terms of the racing style. I know the Europeans race a little bit differently at times to us, but hopefully by opening that door, we can continue on the good work of building the community at the same time. And that blend of the different racing styles will be interesting to see as it unfolds, AJ. So looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But for now, folks, that's going to pretty much wind us up until next week. If you are interested in participating in the community, there's a bit of information on screen for you now. Of course, on YouTube, where you are is where you'll find the Sunday Night Lights each and every week on the Top Split YouTube channel. Join the conversation in the Discord community as well. Just follow that link there on your screen to join in. It's also where you can register your team name if you want to be part of the broadcast in that way as well. The Top Split podcast you can find at thetopsplit.com. Latest episode of that, I interviewed the great Australian driver in Marcus Ambrose, two-time Australian supercar, V8 supercar champion, and Australia's greatest NASCAR driver as well. Great conversation I had with him. Of course, you can always join the conversation over at Facebook as well, the Top Split Facebook page. Down below, you've got some of our broadcasters and where we stream on Twitch as well. Top Split TV. AJ, of course, the doctor here on AJ77, and the Golden Stig, who didn't make the Top Split here tonight, young Mr. Awema, but he's sometimes in the booth here as well, and sometimes streaming on Twitch. So that's where you can find us, folks. And on behalf of my co-host here tonight, the doctor, Alex John, I've been your host, Alex McKellar. And until next time, I will say ciao for now.